All right, everyone. Welcome back yet again to the Scoreboard here on WSIC 105.9 100.7 FM and always on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, WSICnews.com, everywhere where you can get video. We are there, and you can find all your favorite shows on a podcast format over on the website also. So if you ever miss anything, you can find us. Lots to go over today. It's a Thursday here. Let me double check that. Yeah, it is Thursday. See, we know what day it is. Oh, so we have some issues with teams moving to the ACC from the Pac, what used to be 12, which is now the Pac-4. We have some MLB updates, including a no-hitter that was thrown last night. We have some Charlotte FC going on here, and getting closer to the weekend with NASCAR and the Indy Road Course. So we'll make sure to touch on all of that today. I want to start with the MLB because it is, the middle of baseball season, and we're getting down to the end of the year here as the standings kind of start to shake up a little bit, and we really try to find out who's going to be contenders and who's just kind of fighting to say they made the playoffs. I think it's obvious at this point that the Baltimore Orioles are for real. They are actual contenders this year. I also think it's pretty obvious that Philadelphia is going to have a good playoff run. And I was speaking about no-hitters. Well, Michael Lorenzen threw the first no-hitter at Citizens Bank Park. That's the Philly Stadium since Roy Halladay in 2010. And it was a complete game no-hitter. So that's good because I don't like these combined no-hitters. I don't know if they should really be considered no-hitters, but I digress. So the Phillies get Michael Lorenzen at the trade deadline, and he immediately makes an impact. The Phillies have been on a run here recently. They're going to make the playoffs. Now, they're not going to catch Atlanta, but they're 7-3 in their last 10. They're pretty sound in the wild card right now. They are 3.5 up on the Cubs. And the Cubs are the first team out right now. And we've noted the incredible run that they're on. They've started to slow down here. But there are some other teams behind the Cubs, like the Reds. Do you remember when Elly De La Cruz was like a daily topic on this show about 2 or 3 weeks ago? It was every day he was doing something crazy. We haven't heard from him. And the Reds are 2-8 in their last 10 games. They've now fallen a half game out of the wild card. They're tied with the Cubs right now. And then Arizona, who was in the middle of the wild card mix, they've lost their last 8 games. 1-9 in their last 10 games. So these are some teams that you could say towards the end of the year, maybe they really aren't contenders. Maybe if they do end up backing their way into the playoffs and grabbing that final wild card spot, maybe they're not going to do anything with it. It's entirely possible. It's also entirely possible that once you make the dance, you figure it out, and you play some good baseball and move on. But we'll have to see what happens with that. I think that some of these teams that are failing right now, that are really just not looking good, like the Angels, even in the American League, the Yankees, the Red Sox, Cleveland. Back to the National League, we have the Mets, who are terrible still. San Diego. These guys are all on a downward spiral right now. If you're San Francisco, if you're Philadelphia, if you're Miami, take advantage of it. And we can't really even say that Miami has been taking advantage of it because they're on a losing trend also. So these playoff races and these wild card races, they can change really fast. You know, a 4 or 5 game winning or losing streak can turn your whole season around. And we're seeing that happen right now in the American League. The Angels, although they've won 2 straight, they did have that streak where they lost 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row. Right before the deadline, they were hot. And they said, we're going to keep Shohei Ohtani. He's going to stick around. And then they started to slide backwards. Now, it's not all over for some of these teams that are in a bad spiral right now. And that's kind of what it is, because it'll eventually stop. Eventually, you're going to level back out and become the team that you should be. But right now, they're spiraling out of control. And if Arizona, if San Diego, if Cincinnati specifically, if they don't stop the bleeding soon, they could find themselves in a spot where it's almost impossible for them to make this comeback. Cincinnati was leading the division a couple of weeks ago by a few games, by about 3.5, 4 games. Now they're 2.5 games out. So are the Cubs. And Milwaukee is hoping that they keep playing bad baseball so that they can scoot away. And it's not like Milwaukee is this team that's so good and the Reds have no chance and Chicago has no. Those two, Chicago and Cincinnati, they've just been bad recently. Milwaukee hasn't been great. They're playing .500 baseball over the past few days. That's all you have to do if the person that you're going up against is losing, all you have to do is be .500. They're going to get farther and farther away from you. You just have to keep it together. And that's what we're seeing right now. We haven't mentioned them at all because they're so far out ahead of the field and so obviously going to be the team to beat. The Atlanta Braves still having a good year. 10 games ahead of Philadelphia in the NL East. Now, they lost to the Pirates yesterday, but, you know, it is what it is in that sense. The Pirates winning that one 7-5. I'm wondering what happens with some of these teams and some of the fallout that we're going to see from some of these teams. Like if the Angels don't make the playoffs. Will Shohei come back is probably the biggest question. But another question that I have is what happens to the manager? What happens to the front office? You made this commitment to go for it this year. You made trades that you thought were going to be good. And they didn't work out. Are jobs safe here? Are jobs in jeopardy? And another team like that, the Yankees. Are jobs going to be safe with the Yankees? They did the complete opposite of what the Angels did. The Angels said, we're in contention, we're going to buy, and we're going to see what we can do. The Yankees were in contention, and they said, we're not going to do anything. We're going to get maybe a middle reliever, and then when our guys come back from injury, that'll be just as good as a trade, you know? Both of these teams took 2 different approaches to the deadline as a fringe team, and they're not looking good. I'm really curious if jobs are going to be safe in these areas. I don't think so. I think, especially in New York, there's time for a change. LA, too. I'm sure if they have another failed season, and yes, it's a failed season if they miss the playoffs, I bet we're going to see some change. We're going to take a quick break here, hear from some of our lovely sponsors, but make sure that you stay tuned here to the Scoreboard, WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM, 704-873-1400 if you're interested in calling and talking about something sports. We're going to talk about the NFL here in a little bit because we have games starting today. We'll be back right after this.
Have your say.
Trusting the government to fix anything is a joke.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't even trust the banks with our money.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Just a few more weeks until Kane Center for the Arts' first performance of the 2024 fall season lineup. Asheville native Kanan Cox will be performing Friday, August 25th. The show starts at 8 p.m. Kane Center for the Arts 2024 fall season. Buy your season tickets now at canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Looking for something fun to do with your kids this summer? Birkdale Buds is hosting their weekly Playtime in the Plaza. Bring your preschool-aged bud for playtime between 10:30 and 12 noon every Wednesday through October. The activities include games, face painting, storytellers, magicians, arts and crafts, plus more. There's no cost and no registration required. Bring a blanket and come join the fun. For more details, visit birkdalevillage.com. Ever wonder what Mooresville was like in 1873? The historic Downtown Walking Tour is a self-guided tour that will take you on a stroll through Mooresville's past to learn about the history of the town. Featuring 18 stops, the tour begins and ends at the corner of Main Street and Center Avenue. It should take 1 hour to complete. For more details, visit downtownmooresville.com. Looking for a night out on the town? Cornelius' Second Friday Street Festival series continues, starting at Oak Street Mill at 6 p.m. The Second Friday Street Festival series is ongoing through October. Got an upcoming event you'd like everyone to know about? Yard and estate sales, nonprofit fundraisers, and everything in between? Go to WSICnews.com and click on Events to submit your event today.
I'm Dan Sutton with your WSIC forecast. For tonight, mostly clear with a low around 67 and northwest winds around 6 miles per hour, becoming calm in the evening. Friday, we'll have a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a high near 88 and light southwest winds around 6 miles per hour. Friday night, we'll have a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a low around 68. From WSIC's Weather Center, I'm Dan Sutton.
Folks, you know Randy Marion sells vehicles the King of Price way, but did you know our service department? We service vehicles the King of Price way. We sell tires, we sell brakes, we sell batteries, we sell the maintenance. We help you keep your vehicle on the road safe, ready to drive, whatever the season is. Randy Marion service departments have you covered. Come see us today because, folks, again, you know we sell the King of Price way and we do service the King of Price way.
King of Price, RandyMarionStatesville.com.
Breaking news, expert analysis, and the stories that matter most, all in one place.
I totally acknowledge seeing flames is a scary situation.
WSIC News Talk Now.
All right, we are back here on WSIC. This is the Scoreboard with me, your favorite show host, Joe Berg, 105.9, 100.7 FM, and you can give us a call, 704-873-1400, answering any and all calls, just because, why not, if you have something to talk about. Picking back up on something that we talked about yesterday, we are getting closer and closer and closer to local sports, high school that is, high school sports being back in action. So what we're going to do is whenever we have a game, on a Friday night football or during the week, if you want to call in, shout out your son, your friend, your daughter, whoever, we're going to try and highlight some of these athletes in the local area. So make sure that you know who you want to shout out as we get, because if somebody has a 5-touchdown game, I'm one person. I can't see everything. You got to let me know. And we'll make sure we shine a light on these local athletes because they're awesome. There are some great athletes in this area. So we'll make sure that they get what they deserve, and that's a little bit of recognition. So just keep that in mind, because I'm going to talk more about it when high school is back. There's like a bunch of schools going back this week and next week. And it's August 10th. I thought most of summer break went all the way through August, and it was like the last week of August was when you went back to school, but I don't know. I thought it kind of was like, holy cow, there's people going back to school already? Traffic's going to be terrible again in the morning? Not that it isn't already great, It's pretty bad. But nonetheless, high school sports. Make sure you want to shout people out. Call in, we'll talk about it, and have some fun along the way. As always, we have real NFL football games tonight. Well, kind of real. Kind of real. And by kind of real, I mean, well, it's preseason. And now there's some storylines that we're going to have in the preseason, so don't worry about that. There's a few things going on that I'm curious about, me personally. First game tonight, the Texans and the Patriots. I want to know if CJ Stroud is playing. I'm pretty sure he is. I want to know if Davis Mills has a chance. And this is the Texans side with their quarterback situation. Because Davis Mills was not horrible. I just think he was on a bad team with no weapons, and he couldn't really do anything with that. Same thing with the starter on the other team, the Patriots. Mac Jones, I mean, is he bad? Is he good? I don't know. His number one wide receiver is Juju Smith-Schuster. That's like a good number 2 receiver on most teams. They don't have any weapons. They got Hunter Henry and Mike Gesicki now. So, Belichick loves his 2 tight end schemes. We don't have to go through some of his dual tight end threats because eventually we'll get to one that we don't want to talk about. That's for another day. But I want to know, is Mac Jones actually going to be the starter this year? Because Bailey Zappi, he's not horrible. He had a good few games last year. And Mac Jones, he didn't help himself. There's things to look out for in the preseason. Now, there's going to be these teams that say, okay, wait, we really don't know who the starter is going to be. They're going to play equal time. They're going to split reps. I'm sure that 75% of the teams who say they don't know who their quarterback is going to be know who their quarterback is going to be. Let's take the Buccaneers, for example. Their preseason is going to be important. Now, okay, they signed Baker Mayfield. Cool. But that's not the only quarterback that they have now. Because they drafted Kyle Trask a couple of years ago. He sat behind Brady. Is he going to be ready now? I don't know. On their depth chart, on Tampa Bay's depth chart for quarterback, they literally listed it as Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask. So we don't know who it's going to be. So there's going to be battles going on. But as much as they say we don't know who the starter is going to be, I have a feeling that they do know who the starter is going to be. Now, maybe they don't know who the starter for the whole year is going to be, but week 1 of the regular season, I'm sure every team knows who their starting quarterback is going to be. It's just the way I think they operate. I don't think you can go a month before the season starts and say, yeah, we don't know who our starter is going to be yet. If you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. Isn't that a saying in the NFL? But we'll see what happens with that. First game, though. Let's get back on track with the first game tonight, the Texans and the Patriots. That one going to be kicking off at 7 o'clock. So literally right after the show, you can just change whatever, turn off your radio and, I don't know, turn on some TV and watch some football. Isn't that what we do as sport fans? Later tonight at 10 o'clock, we have the Vikings and the Seahawks. A little bit less intriguing, in my opinion. If it was a regular season game, that'd be a real nice one to see. But we don't have many starters there. There's less question marks on who's going to be starting in certain positions. And as fans, all we really care about is who's going to be the starting quarterback, who's going to be the starting running back, who's going to be the starting wide receiver. Skill positions. Now, maybe there's a lot of competition for the offensive and defensive line, but for the most part, I feel like all these teams know who's going to be playing and how much they're going to be playing. Like the Vikings, for example. They know that Kirk Cousins is going to be their quarterback, so he's more than likely not going to play. Unless you're a rookie or somebody who is like a second-year player who didn't play their rookie year, unless you're a rookie, if you're playing in the preseason, you're probably not starting. How many times do we see top-tier quarterbacks play in the preseason? Not often. Maybe they play, especially over the past couple of years. Maybe they have like a drive or two. Maybe they have a quarter, but they're not playing the whole game. And skill guys, even less. When was the last time you saw the top receivers out there? And it used to be, back when it was 4 preseason games, it was something like week 1, you would get 1 drive. And then week 2, the starters would get a quarter. And then week 3, they would play like until halftime and then sit out week 4. It's not like that anymore because for some reason, the NFL has this obsession with mileage on players now and how much you play and how much you get beat up. So they don't play them in the preseason. And that not playing people in the preseason, it does and it doesn't tie in to the entire fiasco going on with NFL running backs right now and how they can't get paid and how they don't want to settle for less because they deserve to be paid, which is right. You know, they get used a lot. They're, half the game is running, passing. That's offense. So you have somebody who's a running back, who's a really good running back. They don't want to get paid. They're going to get mad. So they're not going to play in the preseason because the team doesn't want to run up their touches, get them hit a whole bunch more, use them a whole bunch. That way they're good for the regular season. It didn't used to be like that. I wonder how would Emmitt Smith do in today's NFL? Would he do good? Or would he get to the end of his first contract and teams would say, sorry, buddy, goodbye. We don't want to pay you. You're worth too much money. We could just go draft somebody in the 3rd round and give them less than half of what you're making right now, and he'll be just as productive. I don't know if older running backs would survive in today's NFL, which is so weird because you would think that the farther you go back, you would find running backs who would just last like maybe 3 years, 4 years, if this whole usage thing and how much you get hit was true. But no, you look back when the game used to be a majority running, that's when you had all your really good running backs in the league. How many Hall of Famers are in the league right now? If you're a running back. Derrick Henry? Maybe. I can't think of anyone else. And you can't tell me it's going to be Christian McCaffrey. No, he doesn't have anywhere near enough yards. You can't tell me it's going to be somebody like, I don't know, Ezekiel Elliott. No, he's not even on a team right now, and he's still young. I don't know who's going to be Hall of Famer now. I don't know if Hall of Fame voting for the running back class is just going to kind of take a dip all of a sudden, but when you think about the long-term effect of this whole running back fiasco, it's going to be interesting because I don't know who's going to have a long enough career to rack up enough yards and touchdowns and touches to actually be voted into the Hall of Fame. A little bit of a rant there to end the segment, but we still have 2 more to go. So make sure you stay tuned. This is the Scoreboard. If you'd like to call in, 704-873-1400. We will be right back after this.
If you have an upcoming event, let WSIC spread the word. Go to WSICnews.com and click on the Community Calendar button. WSIC, proud to be part of your community. Local and North Carolina news now on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC. News Talk Now.
I'm Mike Jackson, WSIC News. Carowinds has reopened the Fury 325 roller coaster, which was closed for more than a month after someone noticed a crack in a support pillar. The ride reopened Thursday after a final inspection by the State Department of Labor's Elevator and Amusement Device Bureau. Over the last weeks, crews worked to replace the cracked pillar with a new steel column. According to Carowinds, the ride has undergone extensive testing since it was repaired, including an accelerometer test. And Alan Morrow of Mebane bought a $3 power play ticket and won a $100,000 prize in last Wednesday's Powerball drawing. That's according to an NC Education Lottery press release. Morrow bought his winning quick pay ticket on the NC Lottery app. He matched the numbers on the 4 white balls and the red Powerball to win $50,000. His prize doubled to $100,000 when the 2x multiplier hit. He claimed his prize Tuesday at lottery headquarters. After required federal and state tax withholdings, he took home $71,251. WSIC weather mostly clear overnight, a low of 67 for Friday. Slight chance of a shower in the afternoon, mostly sunny with a high of 88. Saturday, sunshine with a high of 92. More sun on Sunday, the high 94. Mike Jackson, WSIC News. Black Powder Coffee is celebrating their 10th anniversary with a medium dark roast blend of Indonesian and South American coffee beans. Enjoy the full-bodied natural flavor notes of chocolate with a bright finish. Get Black Powder Coffee's new anniversary blend today at Black Powder Coffee, 261 Rolling Hill Road, Mooresville, or participating retailers everywhere. Black Powder Coffee.
Right now at Wendy's, when you buy either a Dave's Single, Spicy Chicken Sandwich, Medium Frosty, or 10-piece nuggets, you can get another for just $1. Your dollar never tasted so good. So it's obvious what everyone will get, right?
Definitely nugs
Spicy
and
chicken
a Frosty.
sandwich,
Dave's Single and a Frosty for me.
And a Frosty.
Okay, who said Frosty and a Frosty? Pick your obvious choice. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's, buy one, get one for $1.
Limited time only. Price of participation may vary. U.S. Wendy's valid for item of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined in a combo or any other offer.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Let's take a moment to appreciate our sweet children, loving grandparents, and eternal soulmates. Now let's use them to save money on wireless. Because with the Straight Talk Silver Plan, you get 4 lines for just $25 a month with unlimited data and no contracts. So add those human pawns, loved ones, and save money. Thanks, kids. They're finally worth it. Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Get 4 lines on Silver Unlimited for $25 per line per month, plus taxes and fees. For data management practices and additional terms, visit straighttalk.com.
NC Representative Jeff McNeely.
He overrode Governor Cooper's veto of our omnibus gun bill, Second Amendment bill.
Taking care of Iredell.
Actually took care of some loopholes, in my opinion.
Monday and Saturday mornings at 11. News Talk WSIC.
A second chance at a first impression. I'm Anish Shroff with this Panthers update.
As the official ticket marketplace of the Carolina Panthers and the NFL, Ticketmaster has a wide selection of tickets available for every game. Whether you're cheering on the Panthers at home or away, Ticketmaster has you covered. With Ticketmaster's interactive seat map, you'll get a 360-degree preview of your seat so you can make sure you have the best view of those pivotal plays. Plus, the Ticketmaster app makes it easy to sell or transfer tickets if your plans change, and mobile tickets make getting in on game day a breeze. Find tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Panthers.
Carolina's preseason opener gives fans their first chance to see rookie quarterback Bryce Young in game action. But it's also a return to action for another quarterback.
Definitely a really good feeling, my first day back was in the spring, and, just putting on the cleats and being out there in a walkthrough with all the teammates and all the guys, man, it was, it's a surreal feeling when you think about it, but it didn't really hit me till after my first practice back, but it's definitely a blessing to be out here, especially when you know what it feels like to be taken away from you.
Last year, Matt Corral was the rookie QB with SEC pedigree, but a foot injury in the second preseason game ended Corral's rookie season. After a year of rehab and recovery, a healthy Corral is excited to showcase his skills.
I just want to be there for my team and, do everything that I can for this organization, whatever that means. But I definitely come preseason, I'm going to showcase what I can do.
Carolina traded up to grab Corral in the 3rd round a year ago. In his final season at Ole Miss, Corral ranked third in the SEC in total QBR. Ahead of him, current teammate Bryce Young and Georgia's Stetson Bennett. I'm Anish Shroff on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network, presented by Morris Jenkins.
Join Oswald Baptist Church Sunday morning at 10 here on WSIC.
76 years strong, and we're still the one. WSIC. News. Talk. Now.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Scoreboard yet again here on WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. 704-873-1400 if you'd like to talk about something going on in the sports world or anything, really. Give us a call. I want to bring this story for the next segment here that broke later last night, earlier today, and I don't know if you watch, you know, I usually stand during these shows just to get the energy up, but for this one, I'm going to have to sit down because there's a lot to go through here. All right, Phil Mickelson. It is reported that he wagered over $1 billion in total and tried to bet on the Ryder Cup. All right, so there's a book called Gambler Secrets from a Life of Risk by renowned professional gambler Billy Walters. And there are some excerpts from that book that are going around. Here's the paragraph with the information on how much money he was betting. Citing betting records and two very reliable sources, Walters writes that from 2010 to 2014, Mickelson made little bit dyslexic there reading that number. 858 bets of $220,000 and 1,115 bets of $110,000. He estimates Mickelson endured losses of approximately $100 million while betting more than $1 billion over the past 3 decades. The other pretty harrowing claim here is that, according to the book, in September of 2012, Mickelson called Walters during the Ryder Cup and asked Walters to place a $400,000 wager on him for the U.S. team to win. And the book apparently goes on to say that Walters scolded him, saying, "Have you lost your mind? Don't you remember what happened to Pete Rose? You're seen as a modern-day Arnold Palmer. You'd risk it all for this. I want no part of it." This is pretty serious accusations here, because if Phil Mickelson was mid-game betting on the Ryder Cup, I don't know what the rules are with betting in golf if you're a golfer, because there's really no inside information that you can have, especially if you're just going to bet on yourself to win the US Open, let's say. There's no real inside information that you can find. There's no, because it's just you out there. You're not playing the other people. You're playing the course. So I don't know how it works with golf betting, but it's a bad look. It's definitely not a good look. Now, obviously, Mickelson has gone on to say that he never bet on the Ryder Cup, and that he's already been very open about his gambling addiction, which he has been. But this book is supposed to be Very interesting. It's funny that they bring in that Walters brought up Pete Rose when talking to Mickelson, because Pete Rose, he bet on baseball games. That's why he's banned from baseball and he's not in the Hall of Fame. But it's different. I'm trying to understand how do you even bet that much money? And he's right. Mickelson was besides Tiger, Mickelson was one of the faces of golf, lefty and all that. And then this Live Tour stuff started and kind of got a sour taste in their mouths. And from the past, the betting stuff had already been coming up. And it's just a little bit of a fall from grace, it feels like, for Phil Mickelson. Now, I don't believe the book is out yet. It's supposed to be out soon, but there are excerpts from it that are already going around. So remember, if you'd like to pick it up, see what's going on with Phil Mickelson, the book is Gambler Secret Lives. It's called Gambler Secrets from a Life of Risk. And it's going to be released on August 22nd. So go ahead and pre-order that. I'm going to probably take a look at that book. That's some numbers right there. $1 billion and you lost $100 million? I mean, he only lost 1/10 of what he bet. I mean, that's not bad, I guess, but man. And I don't know if there's going to be any legal ramifications if it comes out that he did bet on the Ryder Cup while he was playing. He was on the Ryder. It's a little bit different than normal tournaments because, the Ryder Cup points and teams and all that stuff. So it's not as individualized as normal, but $100 million in losses make us common folks sad. Tears to our eyes. Walter said Phil liked to gamble as much as anyone I ever met. Frankly, given Phil's annual income and net worth at the time, I had no problems with his betting and still don't. He's a big-time gambler, and big-time gamblers make big bets. It's his money to spend how he wants. In all the decades I've worked with partners, Phil had accounts as large as anyone I'd see. You don't get those accounts without betting millions of dollars. I wonder if we're going to actually see betting slips in this book, because I don't know if Billy Walters is a bookie. It says he's a professional gambler, so I doubt he's a bookie, but maybe he knows, or maybe he has access to something that would really blow the top off of this thing. All right, we talked about the NFL. We went through some of the updates in baseball and talked about that nice no-hitter thrown by the Phillies. Michael Lorenzen, that was. I still want to talk a little bit about NASCAR. I know the race isn't until Sunday, but we do have Truck Series playoffs going on, which, like I said, the fact that the Truck Series is already in the playoffs and the Cup Series still has 3 races left doesn't make sense to me. Why are we starting the playoffs at different times? There's different races, but everybody should come together at the end of the year, 3 races in each series at Daytona to end the regular season, and then the playoffs start. I just don't know why they do it like this. But then again, NASCAR's really not been known for doing smart things all the time, so who knows? The Scoreboard here on WSIC. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this.
Be a part of the conversation.
I listen on the way to work.
Have your say.
It's more than just opinions, it's facts.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
Here's your WSIC Community Calendar. Just a few more weeks until Kane Center for the Arts' first performance of the 2024 fall season lineup. Asheville native Kanan Cox will be performing Friday, August 25th. The show starts at 8 p.m. Kane Center for the Arts 2024 fall season. Buy your season tickets now at kanearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Looking for something fun to do with your kids this summer? Birkdale Buds is hosting their weekly Playtime in the Plaza. Bring your preschool-aged bud for playtime between 10:30 and 12 noon every Wednesday through October. The activities include games, face painting, storytellers, magicians, arts and crafts, plus more. There's no cost and no registration required. Bring a blanket and come join the fun. For more details, visit BirkdaleVillage.com. Ever wonder what Mooresville was like in 1873? The historic Downtown Walking Tour is a self-guided tour that will take you on a stroll through Mooresville's past to learn about the history of the town. Featuring 18 stops, the tour begins and ends at the corner of Main Street and Center Avenue. It should take 1 hour to complete. For more details, visit downtownmooresville.com. Looking for a night out on the town? Cornelius' second Friday Street Festival series continues, starting at Oak Street Mill at 6 p.m. The second Friday Street Festival series is ongoing through October. Got an upcoming event you'd like everyone to know about? Yard and estate sales, nonprofit fundraisers, and everything in between? Go to WSICnews.com and click on Events to submit your event today.
I'm Dan Sutton with your WSIC forecast. For tonight, mostly clear with a low around 67 and northwest winds around 6 miles per hour, becoming calm in the evening. Friday, we'll have a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a high near 88 and light southwest winds around 6 miles per hour. Friday night, we'll have a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms with a low around 68. From WSIC's Weather Center, I'm Dan Sutton.
Folks, you know Randy Marion sells vehicles the King of Price way, but did you know our service department? We service vehicles the King of Price way. We sell tires, we sell brakes, we sell batteries, we sell the maintenance. We help you keep your vehicle on the road safe, ready to drive, whatever the season is. Randy Marion Service Departments have you covered. Come see us today because, folks, again, you know we sell the King of Price way and we do service the King of Price way.
King of Price, RandyMarionStatesville.com.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't fix America's debt by starving its people.
Have your say.
One shooting after another, and we're doing nothing to solve it?
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
All right, let's get on with it here on the final segment of the Scoreboard on WSIC with me, your host, yours truly, Joe Berg. 704-873-1400 if you have anything you'd like to talk about here in this final segment. We're going to start off with the NASCAR Truck Series. A little bit different. We usually talk about the Cup Series. Well, the reason we're talking about the trucks today is because, tomorrow the playoffs start, to put it frankly. I know somebody probably just heard that and said, wait a second, NASCAR playoffs starting? No. The Cup Series has 3 races left. The Truck Series doesn't. They're in the playoffs now. So it is what it is. I don't like that we're doing 2 different things at once, but who cares? We move on. Let's talk about this. So tomorrow is the first race of the Truck Series playoffs at IRP, Indianapolis Raceway Park. Milwaukee Mile and Kansas will also be the other 2 tracks in this round of the playoffs. 3 rounds, round of 10, round of 8, and then the championship 4. So let's talk about some of these drivers. Matt Crafton, last driver in. He made it in on points. Everybody knows Matt Crafton, right? He's been around for a while, been a career truck guy, substituted for Kyle Busch in the Daytona 500 when he broke his ankle, both of his legs, whatever it was. He's in the playoffs. Matt DiBenedetto. Man, That's so sad, man. Matt DiBenedetto was so much fun to watch when he was racing. I think it was Levine Family Racing is the 95 car that he was racing for. If anybody remembers the Cup race at Bristol, where it was Ryan Newman, I believe, who ran into his right front and caused some damage for DiBenedetto, allowing Denny Hamlin, the scoreboard's favorite driver, to catch him, pass him for the win, and run away with it. Matt DiBenedetto, 9th right now in the Truck Series playoffs. Nick Sanchez, his first playoff appearance in the Truck Series. Then we got Ben Rhodes, we got Ty Majeski, Grant Enfinger, Christian Eckes, Carson Hocevar. The most wins in the Truck Series. He had 3 wins. He won at Texas, Nashville, and the finale of the regular season at Richmond. Zane Smith and the number 1 driver going into the playoffs in the Truck Series, Corey Heim, in his first career playoff appearance. He's got 30 bonus points. 30. And it's his first year with, Tricon Garage. He's had a great year. Just so we're aware of what the point spread is here, a reminder, it goes round of 10 and then round of 8. So we're going to have 2 drivers, only 2 drivers eliminated in the Truck Series. So Corey Heim has 2,030 points. Matt Crafton, the last driver in, 2,002 points. So only a 28-point spread between 1st and 10th going into the playoffs. We've been talking about point spreads and how much you can gain in a race in the Cup Series a lot because we're keeping an eye on that cutoff line. But in the Truck Series, it's all reset now. 28 points. Look, if Corey Heim goes into the first race here at IRP and he wrecks in stage 1 and can't finish the race, those 30 bonus points, although they were a nice cushion, that advantage he had is gone. He would probably be on the outside looking in if you don't finish. Points are still going to be important. Stage points still going to be important because you don't want to fall behind. Now, look, it's nice to have that little bit of a buffer where, let's say, you get caught up in an accident and you finish multiple lap downs in the middle of the field. It's nice to have that 30-point bonus point cushion. That way you don't have one bad race. If Matt DiBenedetto or Matt Crafton or even Nick Sanchez have one bad race in this round of 3, they're going to have to win to move on. And we talk about winning in NASCAR, and yes, you have to win to move on. Just think back to what Tony Stewart did in the playoffs when it was him and Carl Edwards going at it. Tony won 5 races in the playoffs. That's the entire reason that he was able to make that points comeback in the chase and win the championship. You're going to have to win. So these guys that don't have a win yet, Matt Crafton, Matt DiBenedetto, Nick Sanchez doesn't have a win. Even Ty Majeski only pointed his way in. You're going to have to find a way to get in that winner's circle. Because I can promise you this, in the Cup Series, in the Xfinity Series, in the Truck Series, we will never have another Austin Dillon situation. Some people are saying, what's that? What's an Austin Dillon situation? Well, Austin Dillon won an Xfinity Series championship without winning a single race. Never again. And NASCAR tried to get rid of that ability a while ago. Think back to 2004, the last year that NASCAR Cup Series ran the Winston Cup point system. Matt Kenseth won that championship. And in that season, as great as he was and as dominant as he was, he had one win, a single win on the year. It wasn't a good look for NASCAR. They didn't like it, so they changed it to the chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup. And now, here we are. The NASCAR Cup Series with playoffs, with elimination, with rounds. I don't like it. I'm going to say I don't like it for a while. It's never going to change again because this is what they're doing now. I don't like the fact that they get stock parts anymore. I just don't like it. But I like the racing. Racing this year has been better than any season that I can remember. And that even goes back to last weekend at Michigan. Great racing all around the track. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for IRP in the Truck Series playoffs. It's going to be wild. You know what else is going to be wild? Do we remember what I said was going on tomorrow? Besides more NFL preseason football, there's going to be a lot of preseason football. Charlotte FC takes on Miami FC, Inter Miami, if you will, in the League's Cup quarterfinals. And just a round of applause for the boys, huh? Woo! Let's go. Quarterfinalists? 6 wins in the season so far in MLS, and you've made it to the quarterfinals? Inter Miami, 5 wins on the year, and you made it to the finals? Man, congratulations. I said it yesterday. I'm going to say it again today. I'm going to say it again tomorrow before the game starts. The one thing that is going to be important here is going to be to not let Messi beat you. That's all you got to worry about. Now, I'm not saying if Messi doesn't score, Charlotte's not going to win. Or I'm sorry. I'm not saying if Messi doesn't score, Charlotte will win. I'm saying if he doesn't score, there's a real good chance he'll at least get to penalties. Maybe extra time, figure out what's going on in extra time, go to penalties, and I say it every time. Once you're in penalties, anything can happen. Getting down to it here at the end of the scoreboard today, so I do want to reiterate once again, if you're listening and you're local and you know somebody who plays football, basketball, swimming, track, tennis, chess, I don't care, anything, because we have high school starting soon, which means high school sports will be starting soon, which means I want to shout them out. I want you to call in and say, hey, little Timmy for Providence Day School had 17 touchdowns yesterday. And I'm going to be like, hey, awesome job. That's great. Let's get him into college. Because, I mean, if you have 17 touchdowns in one game, you should probably be a 5-star athlete. You get what I'm saying. And we'll talk about the stats. We'll pull up the game. We'll read through some of the information. And we'll make this a nice little segment. Every couple of days, we'll have some nice segments with local sports. And we're going to talk about high school football because high school football is huge around here. And we're going to have fun with it. And that I can promise you. But thank you once again for tuning in here on the scoreboard with me, your host, yours truly, Joe Berg. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. We'll talk about football because we'll have 2 more preseason games under our belt. Patriots, Texans, Seahawks, Vikings. And then tomorrow we can preview 5 more games because we'll have 5 more games. Football's back. Rejoice and be glad. Thanks for tuning in. We will be back same time, same place tomorrow. Until then, I'll see you guys next time.